the entrance. Thank you so much, Ricardo. What an amazing introduction. I am so psyched to be here with you guys today, but the funny part is that they put me right after lunch because it's the most difficult spot because you guys are falling asleep, so get your coffee. I'm going to try to wake you up today. Today we're going to talk about search and SEO, and this stage is really slippery. I'm like, oh my God. Can I have the next slide, please? Okay, so I've been blogging, I don't know if you guys know this, for almost 19 years. Blogging means content creation at every level, in every single platform possible. What does this mean to you? I'm going to bring you actionable things today that you are going to have to bring back to your business for your business to be smarter. Next, please. So the new reality is that search by the consumer is no longer Google-driven. Search is now AI-driven. If you think about this, guys, so 19 years ago, my blogging mentor, who's written a few books on blogging and content creation, it was all about SEO, search engine optimization. SEO was all about keyword, and this is what we use today for our content. So we try to do some keyword stuffing when we're doing our videos, when we're doing reels, when we're doing our TikToks. We're trying to be findable by using our niche. So we, at Avanti Way, tell you guys on a regular basis, niche is where it's at. It is so important for you guys to be experts in something and not be generalized agents, as Andres always tells us. So you need to find your niche. And that niche is more important today than ever. Big companies are reporting that their search and their findability is down 30 to 40%. Why? Because the consumer is not searching on Google anymore. They're going to AI. Doesn't matter which platform. They're going to AI. And guess what? They're typing a question. And the question is not, find me a Miami realtor. The question is, find me a Miami realtor that specializes in condos under 500,000 in the Brickell area. Now, 19 years ago, I remember the lesson on SEO for me was, I will never, as a single agent, be able to own these big keywords. There's no way I'll be able to own Miami real estate, Brickell real estate. Those are big keywords. So at the time, it was all about the long tail. What will the consumer type that I can be more searchable? And that's where the niche comes in. Architecturally significant properties in Miami Shores. I own that. That was my keyword because my specialty was architectural and historic properties. So I made sure that that long tail, I was findable. I was not going to compete against the Zillows, the Redfins, the Realtor.coms, because I was never going to win. Well, guess what? AI search is so similar to that. It's the long tail. It's the question the consumer asks to find you. It gets a little bit more complicated, but we'll go next. So the shift in behavior is no longer keywords ranking clicks. It isn't, it's just less effective. It's becoming irrelevant. So keyword stuffing, irrelevant, which goes back to your hashtags, by the way, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Now, AI search is all question-driven, synthesized answers, few citations. So you need to think how AI thinks for you to be cited. Next. Why this matters for real estate. You can still be ranked #1 on Google and still be invisible to AI search. And that's important for you guys to know and understand. Consumers are not asking what I said before. What's the best Miami neighborhood under 500,000 for walkability? So they're being very, very specific. If your content is structured clearly, AI tools may quote you directly. Next. So I'm going to teach you different platform strategies for each platform and what needs to happen. Now, you will find commonalities in everything that I'm saying. Now, I do need you guys to know that as much as I'm going to tell you how you can be findable in all of these platforms, there's one thing that Enrique said to us prior to me being here, is authenticity. You need to stay authentic, you need to be yourself, and you still need to be human. So as much as you want AI to find you, you want the consumer to know you're a real person. Eddie and I talk about this all day long to our agents. Authenticity is key. Your client needs to know you're a real person. In the world of AI, as much as you create stuff that's artificial intelligence driven, the consumer wants a person. They're now being able to identify the bot. They're now able to identify the description that's written by a bot. So that's why it's more important than ever for you to stuff yourself in everything you do within the AI world. Next. So we'll start with Instagram. So Instagram is about lifestyle, snippets, and authority. So you need to use question and answer formats. You need to add data points. Geotagging on Instagram is key. Please do not forget to geotag. So right now, we're here at Key Biscayne. You did a video on this event. Make sure you're geotagging Key Biscayne. If you're specializing in a specific neighborhood, make sure you're doing a lot more in that neighborhood and geotagging that neighborhood, because that's how you're going to get found. Prioritize reels with subtitles, transcripts. Transcripts do get scraped by AI. So at any time that you have transcripts and you can include in your content creation, this is the right way to go about it. Authority carousels, and treat each post as a quotable snippet. It needs to be concise, it needs to be factual, it needs to be clear. So there is a shift from the aesthetic stuff to the AI-driven stuff, which is the structured knowledge. Again, I warn you, we need you still to be authentic. So going back to the basics, 19 years ago when I was blogging, I would key stuff my posts and then I would sound robotic 19 years ago. And I realized, whoa, there needs to be a more authentic way to use the tools without me sounding like a bot. And that's exactly what you need to do. Now, you need to mix in the content. You know, the funny content, the one that you're real, and then make sure you have content that is findable by AI. Next. TikTok. This is microeducation, it's where it's at. And AI parses TikTok. It's findable the same way. Now, again, questions. The theme is question-based content. What are your clients asking you? Now, I am 100% sure that what my client asks me is different than the client that's going to ask Joe. Why? Because we have different clients. So don't get stuck on what are they asking me or what do they ask generally. Go more about what they ask you personally. 19 years ago. So it's funny how the story repeats itself, but it evolves. Every time I got a question from a client, I would write a blog post with the answer, because I knew that if one client asked me that question, other clients wanted to know that answer. So it got to a point where I had a library of information where a client would say, hey, Ines, what is Cuban tile flooring and what should I look for in a historic home? I would say, oh my God, I wrote a post about this. Here's the link. So treat it that same way. It's come around full circles. Include data and captions, frame posts as insight or corrections, use hashtags strategically. And the best practice is treat every TikTok as a direct answer to a consumer's question. AI can quote you word for word. Next. Blogging. I know that blogging is like it became a bad word a couple of years ago, but I see a lot of people are coming back to blogging. It's a lot of work. But I think we define blogging a little bit different today than when I started. We define blogging today as what you can do on LinkedIn, that long story-like form that you can write on LinkedIn, or you can put a comment on YouTube, so it's that story thing. So you can consider all your content blogging. If you have a blogging platform, or if you do have a blogging aspect of your website, even better. Why it matters. Blogs remain the strongest content format for citations. And there's a wireframe for it. So obviously this is new, and I'm an A/B tester, so what I did is I started grabbing my old blog posts, and I said, let me rewrite them with the new wireframe. So I encourage you guys to do the same. If you have content that works, that has gotten a lot of traction for you, I encourage you to grab that content and rewrite it and repost it with the correct wireframe. Does that make any sense? So for the actual blog, it starts the title with a question. It has an answer summary at the top, so you'll do a paragraph with the summary. So you're actually giving the answer first, and then you start giving comprehensive coverage, statistics, data afterwards, and then you end with like Q&A at the end of the post, and then it gets cited. Think of each blog post as a citation magnet. It's clear, direct, evidence-based, nuggets AI can quote. So again, are we seeing some things in common from every platform? Will this change? Without a doubt, because these things are changing as we go. But by you guys being here today and listening to this, you're ahead of the game, because most people are not even aware that Google search is going away, but it is. When I heard this like 6 months ago, it hurt my heart. I was like, how could it be? And then you know what? You adapt, you change. Next. LinkedIn. LinkedIn has become my favorite, but you have to remember, I've been at this as an early adopter to social media for over 20 years. I've had my favorites. All platforms evolve. I kind of like the content and the evolution of each one, so I change back and forth. My Twitter handle, so you guys know, it's Ines. It's a 4-letter word. That's how long I've been on that. I'm not using Twitter right now for, maybe I don't like Elon Musk, but don't tell these guys. So LinkedIn is professional authority, and it used to be your professional portfolio, and it no longer is that at all. By the way, techies are in LinkedIn. It's the only platform they're in. Tech companies only use LinkedIn, which is crazy. So think of LinkedIn as it's your use data-backed statements. You can do authority posts on articles. You lead with insights. You add charts. End posts with a clear takeaway. Share really great articles with your own voice. And every LinkedIn post should read like you're a trusted expert, okay? And a snippet of why you are that trusted expert. Next. YouTube. This one, remember that YouTube is owned by Google. So this is where the power is right now, because although Google search is going away, YouTube is here to stay. So this is where you have the opportunity to do long form and short form content that is quotable. You front load answers in the video. Again, the answer goes first. That's what AI likes to hear. And guess what? In the age of us having really short attention spans, those first 2 seconds is where you capture the consumer. So even if you're not doing content for AI and you're doing it directly for the consumer, you need to capture them in the first 2 seconds. So that's what really makes sense. Now, upload full transcripts. That's the beauty of YouTube. Add stats, pair visuals with data, cross-link content. So if you have a great question that you put on a TikTok video, you can actually cross-link into YouTube. And it's getting really great results by AI searches. Best practices, treat each video like a searchable reference library, clear, quotable, and timestamp for AI citation. Again, what did I say? Authenticity. Be careful. Don't do every single post like this. I need you to mix it up, okay? Be authentic, be yourself. By the way, what's authenticity? If I have a sense of humor, I want to be funny. If I am super professional and stiff and an attorney, nothing against attorneys, please. That's what you want to portray yourself because you want to attract like-minded individuals into your content. So please don't be something you're not. Be yourself at every point of the way. If you have an accent, have an accent. Okay, we heard something in a conference a couple of weeks ago. I think it was Inman, Eddie, where someone said, oh my God, I don't like to do video because I'm fat and ugly. And we're like, well, that's who you are. Like, it's, if you think you're not going to get hired because you're fat and ugly, but that's the way you present yourself, I'm sorry. That's who you are. So please do not let that stop anything. Your looks, they're absolutely irrelevant to you making business. Okay? Be comfortable. And guess what? Sometimes being uncomfortable behind the camera attracts traffic, which is awesome. Those mistakes you make, the trip, the whatever it is that you make, that is what the consumer loves. That's not AI searchable, by the way, but it attracts the consumer to your content. Next. Practical takeaways from it is the framework. Okay, I think the commonality is the questions. There's a framework called CLEAR, which is conversation and question focus, logically structured and scannable, expert level, evidence-based, actionable, implementable, related, and comprehensive. Next. Now, I love this, the showcasing with AI tools. I wanted you guys to walk away with things you can use right now that are not super extra difficult. And one of my favorite things for many, many years is virtual staging. Next. So AI powered tools, property presentation. I grabbed 3 tools. The first one is Box Brownie, which has been my favorite for years. It is a paid, it's not a subscription base. You pay per need. It's not super expensive, but it is AI driven with a human behind it, and it's very, very accurate. And I can tell you, Adriana laughs at me all the time because she says, because you're an architect and you pay attention to details, you can see what's broken with it. Now, the other 2 are AI home design and virtual staging AI. Those I grabbed from Miami Realtors website because they're free tools that Miami Realtors is offering. If you're not in Miami Realtors and other parts of, and other associations are getting free tools, okay, with AI. Just make sure what those are. I'm always testing virtual staging stuff because it appears on my Instagram feed constantly. And I get, the $3.99 subscription, the $4.99 subscription, whatever, and they all suck. I mean, I haven't found. If you guys have one that you recommend, please tell us, because nothing like sharing your power. Next. So this one has a normal property. We're talking, and we're going to be talking about this property. It's under $400,000. It's by the hospitals here in Miami. And then the orange frame is the one that I like the best. That's best frame. And this is just virtual staging, super easy. And then look at the middle one. This is a living dining room space. It actually took over, if you look at it, the dining room space. And then it put the sofa in the doorway. It's really bad. So it's out of scale. The furniture is too big and out of scale. That one, there's a hallway here. That one also took it out of scale, and it put stuff in the bedroom. Now, Box Brownie, you can upload floor plans. You can put your little furniture. What I like to do is I like to put them all the pictures that I want virtually staged at the same time so they have the continuity of the furniture. Next. This is the same living room, same companies, and you can see the same errors. Too big, block the door again. Next. The main room was actually really good. I can say that none of them made mistakes. This one eliminated a column. But other than that, All the three did pretty well with that. Next. The second bedroom example, what I like to do when you are listing a property and you are marketing a property is give choices. So I can tell you from my architectural background, when you have an empty space that you're marketing, people think it looks bigger. It's backwards. It looks smaller. You think, oh my God, this place is tiny. How's the sofa going to fit there? So that's the reason we want to put furniture in it. So all of you that are marketing properties that are empty, please take a couple of minutes and put furniture virtually. And we'll talk about how you'll do that. But this one is the second bedroom of that unit, and I'd like to give alternatives to that buyer. So I said, instead of putting a bedroom, I want to do a home office. I think we can agree that they're all pretty good. Maybe taste-wise, we like one more than the other, but they did fine with a virtual office. Next. I grabbed that same bedroom and I said, let's create a nursery. The middle one is not a nursery, but it works, except the bed is out of scale again. It doesn't fit in that bedroom. The other ones are pretty good. So then now your buyer, you're opening your pool of buyers to whoever wants a home office or whoever may have a young baby. Maybe you want to do a gym in that second one. And these are easy to create and takes just seconds. Next. And my favorite, as in a whole, is Box Brownie again. Why? Because there's a continuity when you put them in the MLS and you start marketing. All the furniture is the same. There's the same style. And by the way, you can send them furniture styles. You can do, give me a traditional one and then give me a really modern one. So that all obviously opens the floor to more kinds of buyers that will be attracted to that property. Next. Next one is ethics and compliance. Always, always, always disclose when a photo has been modified. Always. So the best way to do it, best practices, is you do the original photo and then the second one with the virtual furniture, and then you write the description that this image has been virtually staged or digitally enhanced or whatever it is. There's some states in the US that require the actual photo with a watermark that reads virtually staged property or digitally enhanced. The other ethics and compliance, do not remove walls, do not remove fixtures, do not, unless you're going to say this has been remodeled. How many of us have listed a property that is in shambles and you want to make sure that the buyer sees the potential of that property? If you do that, disclose. It's that simple. Now, one thing you can't do, like when you're doing an exterior of a house and there's an electrical wire on the back of it, do not remove electrical wires. Do not remove, or sometimes we want to enhance the grass that's dead, or remove, just make police that as a liability aspect. Make sure you don't turn off buyers when they show up and say, oh, wait a minute, you were showing me something that this is not it. As long as they know ahead of time that this is the potential a property has and not the actual property they're seeing, then you'll be okay. Are we clear with that? How many of you are using virtual staging right now? Oh my God, that's a room of opportunity that I see. Next. Yes, yes. Now, consumer options. You need to provide buyers with options they usually can't picture on their own. And that's what I was telling you before. As an architect, when someone says the space is small, no, it's not small. Let me show you what kind of arrangement you can do. So that's the potential and the opportunity you have. And then this helps buyers visualize possibilities. Next. Okay, optimized bios was the other thing that I wanted to do. We're talking about niche and who you serve. But we have a tendency as realtors to create really boring bios for ourselves. And they all read the same, by the way. Like, I have gone through bio after bio after bio of, I'm a value-driven realtor that I only put my customer first, and I will always work for your best interest. Guys, that's all of us. Okay? That's all of us. So what I'm saying is that you're not putting any value-driven snippets within your bios. And it's important for you to feed that information in your prompts when you're creating these bios. So who you serve, what you specialize in, why it matters, what value you actually bring to the transaction, and personality details, which are the human connection. Next. So I grabbed one of our newer agents, and and her bio is not bad. It's not bad at all. But I wanted to do an exercise on how to improve her bio. So next. If you guys can scan, this is going to give you the whole thread of what I asked ChatGPT to get the different options on the prompting. I'll give you a couple minutes, seconds. You guys ready? Okay, next. Okay, I don't think I'm going to be able to read this, but okay. The prompt was, I want to rewrite a real estate agent's bio so that it becomes really relevant to her audience. I want to answer these questions: who you serve, what you specialize, why it matters, and personality details. I want you to create 3 different bios. Depending on the prompts I provide. I will provide some basics about her current bio, and we'll need a few different examples according to the different prompt needs. So then I put a couple of details about Magdalena, and then this is the 3 types of answers that I wanted. I want one bio to reflect Simon Sinek's concept of why, to resonate with her clients. The second one is, I want another bio to use Don Miller's story brand concept without being literal about her being the guide and the client being the hero. And a third bio, I leave to your discretion, but want to make sure it's findable by AI searches. Next. So the Simon Sinek one. Magdalena believes that finding the right home is not just a transaction, it is the foundation for a life well lived. That is why she devotes herself to guiding clients through Miami's most sought-after coastal communities with precision care and a global perspective. I mean, that just puts it in one single paragraph what she does. So if you can take that prompt and do it to your own descriptions, it's a winning combination. I'm not going to read the rest of it. Next. Donald Miller. For those that know me, he's one of my heroes. He's just so fantastic. If you haven't read his story brand book, please do. It just puts perspective on marketing at a completely different level. So navigating Miami's luxury coastal market can feel overwhelming, but it does not have to. Magdalena makes the process clear and seamless by handling every detail with expertise and care. From her strong background in banking to her hands-on approach with each transaction, she brings the clarity and structure clients need to make confident decisions. Right, again, it's not the boring description. So grab your bios today. I beg you. Rewrite them. Because guess what? In every single platform you're on, you need a bio. There's some platforms that have bullet points that you can add as your bios, which is what you should do. There's some that allow an actual bio, like LinkedIn. So make sure you rewrite your bios for your websites according to who your audience is. Next. So the AI optimized one was a little boring for me, but I'll leave it up to you. Magdalena is a Miami real estate expert focused on luxury homes and waterfront condos. I'm like, boring. In Bal Harbour, Bay Harbor Islands, and Surfside, with a proven background in banking and finance, she brings financial insight, negotiating skills, and attention to detail. So it's findable. So now you have to decide strategically where I need to add this bio to be found. Is it on my website? So that's up to you. Is the consumer reading the bio in your website, or is this bio going to attract people or AI into your website when someone's searching? So that's the important point to make between the different ones. Next. So writing property descriptions in the age of AI. This is, I was talking to Fernando and Jennifer right before this, and this is where the power of AI is right now. Okay, how many of you have asked yourselves this question? Oh my God, it's the worst market ever. It's not moving at all. My properties, my listings are sitting there for 4 months. I can't get the phone to ring. How many of you are experiencing that? Oh, none of you. Oh, go Avanti. Let's go. Let's sell them. Okay, so I am a believer that as much as we, as agents, have a very particular audience, my audience is going to be very different than anyone here in this room. Same as properties. So what happens with properties? I love to grab a pair of shoes as a comparison. You are selling a product, okay? If you have a YSL tribute, the audience for this shoe is going to be very different than a Jordan sneaker. Do you not agree? Yeah. So you need to identify who the audience for the property you are selling is. And in the age of AI, it's become so amazingly simple. Next. So this is the same listing that I showed you before that was virtually staged. It is by the hospitals, by Jackson. It is listed for $380,000. Here is the very well-written description of this property. Next. We're going to do the same thing I did for the bio prompts, but this one's really cool. So I encourage you to put it because this one gives you information at another level. So the prompt for this is a little bit different because the first prompt is, ChatGPT, if I give you an address, can you tell me who the 5 most likely buyers of that property are? Next. So it gives me a list of 5. The first one is, the prompt is, I want to share, oh, that's it. So it actually says, yes, I can give it to you, give me the actual address. And then it gives me 5 different type of buyers that are going to purchase this property. The first one is a medical and university professionals. That makes sense because it's right by the hospitals. Second is parents of Jackson Berry students. Third one is first-time local buyers because of the price point. Hospital adjacent investors. And then there's an international buyers seeking a Miami base. 5 different audiences. Next. So the next is, I want you to give me a description for each one of those particular buyers. So for let me see what this one is. 5 types of buyers. I want you to create 5 different unit descriptions. Here's the realtor's general description. Oh, so I fed the general description for it. Next. Okay, the medical university professionals. Check how awesome this description is, geared for that buyer. It says, minutes from the health district, this modern 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom penthouse puts convenience at your doorstep. The polished concrete floors and open layout create a stylish, low-maintenance space that works with your busy schedule. Relax on the private balcony with sweeping skyline views after a long day, with assigned garage parking, fitness center, and easy metro rail access to downtown and campus. This is a smart move for anyone who values time and proximity. Talk about hitting that audience on the nerve. Like this is, and it did it on its own by saying proximity. It identified the metro rail. It identified like key points for that medical professional. The second one was the parents of or that are doing the residency in the hospitals. Secure a practical long-term solution with this modern 2-2 penthouse featuring impact windows. Think about the parents. What are they concerned on? Impact windows, they hear about hurricanes, because they don't live in Miami. Their kids will live in Miami. Open layout, private balcony, overlooking the city. It's a space that balances comfort and convenience. The building offers amenities like a fitness center, party room, and 24-hour security. Again, what's important to parents? Dedicated garage space, centrally located near hospitals, universities, in transit. It's an investment that works now and for the years ahead. So you know that a parent buying is going to want to have their kids there 3 to 4 years, and then will want to sell or maybe keep it as an investment. So it hits every angle of that buyer. Next. So the strategic marketing for audiences. If I asked ChatGPT after that, if I wanted to market to these 5 different audiences, what do you suggest I do? Also, I want to be found by AI searches. So it says foundation, channel by channel strategy, multi-layer execution, future-proof AI visibility. Next. So, and I'm not going to go through the details of what it provided, but you guys have it there if you scanned it. What it gave me next was, it told me, for that professional from Jackson, I want you to do a LinkedIn ad that has this particular, I want you to do a carousel ad. I need you to put these particular photos. Each one of those photos needs to read this in particular. I mean, it was, and then what I did is, okay, I'm going to play along. Let me do the ad. I go in LinkedIn, and the instructions were off. So I said, okay, no, I'm not finding that. This is what it's asking me for. And it goes, okay, correct. This is what it's asking you, and then it corrects itself. So you can go, you know, sometimes when you're trying to place an ad, and it's so complicated, you try to do, have you tried to do any Google ads from YouTube? No one has? Oh, you guys are asleep. Okay, Google ads are so complicated to me, and that's why we hire marketing professionals, because it's so difficult. But if you ever want to test it and ask ChatGPT all the little questions, okay, this is the prompt it's giving me, what information should I have? But again, you know who the audience is, they know the unit, they know the product. You know, then it becomes really, really comprehensive. So it gave me for the professionals, LinkedIn ads. For the students, it told me to go to Facebook groups and find parent groups for the different universities. Is that genius? So don't spam, please. Do not go into these parent groups and say, hey, I have this unit for sale, because that's spamming. But you can have a really good conversation within those groups. Hey, listen, for anyone that's looking for a unit and doesn't want to rent in the time you're here at UM, you know, I may have a great option for you. So you can be more personable in that side of the equation. So this excites me, because when the market gets stale, and you do not know how to move those listings of yours, it's really key to understand who the niche is for that unit, who is going to buy that product of yours, you know, and how to market to those people that want that product. So please, those of you that have had a listing for more than 3 months, do the exercise. It's a lot of fun. You know, it's easy. You have the prompts. So future-proofing and recommendations. So make sure you write content with AI discoverability in mind. Use digital enhancements responsibly, always responsibly. By the way, if you go through the prompts, you'll see the mistakes. When I first put the address for that condo, it identified a different building. And I said, no, that's not the building. This is the building. And it apologized. Oh, I'm so sorry. You're right. This is it. And then it changed the audience. It was really wild. So that's why, with everything that we've learned today, it is so key for you to understand that the human is key in this whole process. We are key in the whole process. Now, I also encourage you, anytime you're doing anything that is promotional through Instagram, through artificial intelligence, not only say, I want to make sure it does not violate the code of ethics. I want to make sure it doesn't violate fair housing laws. Okay? Repeat that over and over again, because the lawsuits happen to be exactly there. Code of ethics and fair housing. Tailor property descriptions by audience, not generic type. And that applies to your bios as well. Leverage interactive landing pages to stand out, which is part of what we're creating at Avanti Way as well. Next. So expanded recommendations, create repeatable systems with AI visuals, and stay educated and ethical. This changes. The last presentation we did with AI is so different than today's. As Andres said, this is just the beginning. Whatever we're seeing right now is nothing compared to what we're going to see 3 months from now. And it moves so fast. So we are always encouraging you guys to stay on top of the game, to stay educated. Next. So the test. How are you? Are you being found by AI or not? And this is how you prove the test. So step 1, you're going to go to ChatGPT or any of the other platforms, and you're going to ask 5 questions that clients typically ask. Step 2, who is cited? Is it you? Are you on that list? Is your competitor on that list? Then go back to your content, redo content, retest, and then it's a rinse and repeat type of equation until you start finding yourself cited by ChatGPT or any of the other AI searches. It is so exciting the first time you see your name popping up there. I remember a colleague from mine from up north sent me a screenshot through chat saying, oh my God, I typed something about realtors in Miami and you came up on the top 5. And I was like, oh my God, that is so cool. Send me, what did you search? What did you search? I was very excited. So you need to test it yourself at the end of the day. And again, your niche, your expertise. Miami realtor, you'll never be quoted. It will never happen. And that's why it's so important for you guys to just dig in deep into what you sell the most, who you work the best with, what your niche and your expertise is, and what's your forte. And I hate to go back, but our DISC assessment is where it's at. It starts with a DISC. You know yourself first to know who you serve. Then you know how to put yourself out there as the expert. Does that make sense to you guys? Awesome. Next. So I'm going to end with this. Consumers, ask better questions. But AI will quote you if you are that answer. And that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you. And, oh, I think